live, streaming, and on the ABC 3340 app. This is ABC 3340 News at 5.
A lot of relief for some people in Northport looking to preserve their community center. The city council's decision that they were fighting for.
And surveying the damage after the weekend storms in Jefferson County, what we've learned from the National Weather Service.
But first, a 13-year-old and a 19-year-old shot to death while inside a vehicle in Forestdale. It happened Monday night at an apartment complex on Chickasaw Drive. Good evening, I'm Pam Huff.
And I'm Muriel Bailey. The victims were found inside that crashed vehicle at an apartment complex. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says the victims were friends and a third teen was in the car but able to escape. ABC 3340's Valerie Bell is working for you to learn more about this shooting. And Valerie, no arrests have been made. Should there be any concern?
Muriel, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says they don't believe there is any safety concern for the general public. However, there's always that concern that when a bullet leaves the gun, it can go anywhere and anyone can be a victim. That's what has neighbors on edge.
It's a Monday night. Who kills on a Monday?
Joel Daniel and his wife were sitting in their apartment listening to the radio when the sound of gunfire rang out.
You don't want to come home to a good day and then you're sitting in your front room and you get shot from a stray bullet.
In the parking lot, 13-year-old Jonathan Cottingham and 19-year-old Lewis Craig IV were found shot to death inside a crashed vehicle. Evident by the damage, others say it caused to their cars.
Just to hear that they're teenagers, kids, they ain't even lived half their lives yet. It's completely sad. I am just speechless about it.
The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office believes the shooting was targeted and the victims knew the person who pulled the trigger.
And all of them should have been at home. Every last one of them.
Next to the park at Forestdale West, True Life Baptist Church.
I'm very disturbed by it, and we will intensify what we're doing.
Pastor Steve Small reacts.
Sadly that this happened here, but who is next and where will be next?
This tragedy impacting young lives.
It's a wake-up call.
How concerning is this to you?
Very much, very, very concerning.
And with the shooter still on the loose,
We will be cautious and we will be alert and watchful, but we will continue with life.
They might not have a suspect, but if that person did that to them, obviously it's somebody gonna be looking for him or them. You know, so it's gonna happen again.
now the 13-year-old victim, Jonathan Cottingham, was a 6th grade student at Minor Middle School. The superintendent of Jefferson County Schools, Dr. Walter Gonzalez, releasing a statement earlier today saying he had his whole life ahead of him, and it is heartbreaking to lose someone so young to an act of violence. The 19-year-old victim, Lewis Craig IV, was a resident in Birmingham. At this time, the motive behind the shooting has not been released. Live in Forestdale, Valerie Bell, ABC 3340 News.
Next month will mark 1 year since a Birmingham mother was killed on the Tuscaloosa Strip. Today, the judge in that case ordered defense attorneys for Michael Davis to provide specific grounds as to why they say the charges filed against their client should be dismissed. They have 14 days in which to do so. Davis and former Alabama basketball star Darius Miles are each accused of killing Jamia Harris on the Strip the night of January 15th. The evidence in the case points to Davis using a gun given to him by Darius Miles in that shooting. Minor High School's band director Johnny Mims will return to work in January. His attorney says the Jefferson County School Board voted to allow her client to come back. Mims was placed on administrative leave following his arrest after a football game in September at Jackson Olin High School.
Now your first forecast from the Weather Authority.
Got a few high, thin cirrus clouds over Alabama this evening. The low levels are very dry, much of the country dry, and we have temperatures very close to seasonal averages for mid-December. Birmingham currently at 55. Colder for places like Pell City, Cullman, and Jasper. They're in the 40s. We have 53 degrees down in Clanton. On the way, no rain through Friday with seasonal temperatures. The chance of some rain this weekend, maybe Saturday night or Sunday, probably not that much. And the latest long-range guidance suggesting temperatures around Christmas Day could be fairly mild here across Alabama, in fact, much of the country. Tonight will be dropping through the 30s after midnight. Many spots will likely be in the upper 20s by daybreak tomorrow morning. We've got the 7-day forecast and much more coming up in minutes, so stay with us.
National Weather Service survey team spent a second day in Jefferson County looking over the damage left behind by Sunday's storms.
ABC 3340's Gracie Johnson spoke with the team as they wrapped up their surveys.
Survey teams now have a better assessment of the damage left behind in Homewood, Mountain Brook, and Vestavia Hills Sunday. The team making their return to some of the areas that were inaccessible Sunday and Monday. The damage, a result of 2 EF1 tornadoes touching down within a 5-minute period.
There were very weak signatures on radar, very, very hard to detect, which is frustrating for us at the Weather Service, but there was a severe thunderstorm warning that was in place, and we always say that folks need to pay attention to the severe thunderstorm warnings as well.
Their tracks took them along Lakeshore Drive in the Wildwood area and Highway 280 near Cahaba Heights.
In this case, it's an actual path. We've actually followed a path from near Wildwood over near Lakeshore Drive over to Homewood, and it was a concentrated area where trees were actually snapped, downed, and uprooted in that area. You could actually see the path. It's a continuous path.
Goggins said that in the Bluff Park and Cahaba Heights area, the crew found more evidence of straight line wind damage. Now, because of these areas of the county being so populated, he said there are significant property damages.
The bad thing about it is we had lots of large trees are in this area. So all those trees fell on people's houses. So there was a lot of loss of property, unfortunately.
In Mountain Brook, Gracie Johnson, ABC 3340 News.
So far, the Jefferson County EMA reports 27 cases of trees on houses across the county, and that does not include damaged structures in Homewood. The EMA is still working to compile a total number. You can scan the QR code here on your screen to get access to the ABC 3340 weather app. The app gives you live radar, James weather blog, and the 7-day forecast.
The president of Harvard University is staying where she is. The university's highest governing body, known as the Harvard Corporation, said she will indeed keep her job. The board, though, says that it believes Gay is the right leader to help the community heal. Now, Harvard leaders had faced calls to fire Gay after last week's congressional hearing concerning anti-Semitism on campus.
President Joe Biden will meet with the families of American hostages being held by Hamas tomorrow. The White House says they are in Washington to fight for their loved ones. The families want the U.S. and Israeli governments to work harder for their release. 7 American men and 1 woman are still missing after the October 7th attack.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's visit to Washington, D.C. did not appear to change the minds of lawmakers concerning aid to Ukraine. Zelensky met with President Biden at the White House and also with lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Republicans say they will not pass additional funding for Ukraine without seeing a boost to security along our southern border. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he supports Ukraine's fight against Russia, but the White House has not provided a clear strategy on this war.
What the Biden administration seems to be asking for is billions of additional dollars with no appropriate oversight, no clear strategy to win.
President Zelensky's message was direct. Ukraine will win the war against Russia if more aid is approved.
The Pentagon announced a new $200 million military aid package for Ukraine. Now, this is going to be paid for using existing funds and does not require any more approval by Congress. Helping children fight obesity, what health experts are recommending in place of surgery or even medication.
And the rate of consumer inflation slows again, but the cost of the American dream is up. A breakdown of the numbers ahead.
The holidays are almost here. I'm Stephen Quinn, live in Hoover, and tonight we're going to tell you about the one final chance you have to help with Toys for Tots this year.